freshman representative Mick Mulvaney, he's from South Carolina. He's proud to be a Tea Party guy. He said over and over again. In fact, they passed the earmark ban because of the Republicans in Congress, and they said, no more earmarks, and he loved it. In fact, he'd go around making fun of earmarks like the Banjo Museum and the Bridge to Nowhere, and he'd say, I get a lot of these Banjo Museum earmarks. Losers. Corrupt. So I'm sure that Congressman Mulvaney isn't going to do any earmarks. What's interesting, though, is that he has taken hundreds of thousands of dollars from Koch Brothers associated groups like 60 Plus Association, American Future Fund. These are financed by the Koch brothers, and they've given him hundreds of thousands in contributions. But look, being the principal Tea Party guy he is, I'm sure he's against crony capitalism, and he wouldn't return the favors. Of course not. So, and we know already he's against the earmarks, so that's good. What's weird is that after he mocked the earmarks of the Banjo Museum, etc., a week later, literally 1 week later, on May 1st of this year, he introduced two bills. One is called House Resolution 5196 and the other one's 5197. Well, what do they do? Well, let's look into it. Well, 5196 wants to suspend a tariff, give it a tariff exemption for companies that produce this very specific chemical, microcrystalline anatase type titanium dioxide. Boy, that's really specific. And how about 5197? Well, they want to do the same thing, but for the chemical polytetramethylene ether glycol. Now, normally, if you earmark for a specific company, that's why we call it an earmark. You've attached it for that company. In order to not be called an earmark, according to the Republicans' own law, this has to apply, whatever law you pass, has to apply to at least 10 companies. So you're not picking favorites, so you're not doing crony capitalism. Now that makes sense. So how many companies, let's take a look here, deal in those two chemicals? Huh, that's strange. It looks like only one company does. And what would that company be? Oh, look at that. It's Invista, a subsidiary of Koch Industries. I didn't see that coming. So it turns out Mr. Tea Party, Mr. Against Earmarks, takes hundreds of thousands of campaign contributions from the Koch brothers to get elected, then turns around and does the most obvious, blatant earmark there is on chemicals that are incredibly specific, produced by only one company, owned by the Koch brothers. And that's how you pay your donors. And that's how you do legalized bribery in America. You can buy our politicians. They're pretty cheap. And then they give you great return. Now, because of those tariff exemptions, I'm sure the Koch brothers will make so much more money than they gave to lousy, cheap politician Mick Mulvaney. That's how you buy the Tea Party. That's how you buy the Republican Party. That's how you buy Washington, D.C. And the Koch brothers, who claim to be libertarians, are no such thing. They are the biggest purveyors of crony capitalism in the country. They love it. They love buying the government to gain an unnatural advantage. They don't want to actually compete in the free market. They despise the free market. No, they want to rig the free market so that it is no longer free and it is to their advantage. And the way they do it is they buy cheap prostitutes like Congressman Mulvaney. And that's how our system works.